just moved into a new apartment, and being the broke post-grad I was, I barely owned anything. Just a few boxes of clothes and books from my parents' place. No bed, no chairs, not even a table. My living room echoed with every step. So, I figured I'd try my luck on Facebook Marketplace. The free section, of course. You've probably seen it. Half the stuff looks like it survived a house fire, and the other half is held together with duct tape and hope. Still, I was desperate. To find something I could sit on that didn't feel like the floor. I'd been scrolling for over an hour. Everything was either gone or disgusting. Right when I was about to give up, I hit refresh, and there it was. A new listing, brand new couch, never used, free for pickup. It had just been posted, not even 60 seconds ago. The pictures showed a sleek gray sectional in what looked like pristine condition. It honestly looked expensive, too good to be true. Still, I messaged the seller immediately. They replied almost instantly. "Yeah, the couch is all yours if you can come pick it up tonight, anytime after 9. I hesitated. It was only noon. And 9 p.m.? That's late, especially when you're meeting a stranger. But maybe they work nights or something. I didn't question it too hard. I just said I'd be there and went about my day. By 8:30, I texted that I was on my way. That's when things started to feel off. The address they sent wasn't in town. It wasn't near town. It was nearly an hour away, deep into the foothills by the Rockies, past the last gas station, past the paved roads. Still, I went. My GPS led me down narrower and narrower roads. Streetlights disappeared, houses got fewer, then none at all. Eventually, I was on a one-lane dirt road surrounded by thick trees. No cars, no sounds, just the crunch of gravel under my tires and the occasional thump of something shifting in my trunk. Finally, my GPS chirped, "You have arrived." There was a house. Surprisingly nice. 2 stories, dark blue siding, but it sat completely alone. Not a single neighbor in sight. No lights. No porch lamp. Just the silhouette of the house against the night sky, the windows reflecting nothing but black. I still had 1 bar of signal, enough to text, "Hey, I'm here." 10 seconds later, the reply came, "Okay." That was it. Just okay. No greeting. No instructions, no motion from inside the house. I sat there for a second, staring. Then, figuring I'd come all this way, I got out of the car. As I stepped onto the porch, it creaked loudly under my weight. Too loud. It sounded like it hadn't been stepped on in a long time. I knocked on the door. A muffled voice, low and right behind the wood, responded, "It's unlocked. Come on in." The voice was flat, calm, but what made my stomach twist was how close it sounded, like they were standing directly behind the door, waiting. I cracked the door open, just enough to peek inside. Darkness. The entire interior was pitch black. Not a single light on, not even the glow of a TV or hallway bulb. Just cold, empty black. The only visibility came from a sliver of moonlight bleeding in through one of the back windows. I said, "Hello?" and stepped half a foot in. That's when I heard the voice again, this time from inside off to the left. It came from behind a half-open door leading to the basement. "Come on down here. Couch is ready to go." The words hit different now. They weren't casual. They were too prepared, like he'd rehearsed the line. I froze. My pulse was in my throat. Every instinct in my body screamed, "Get out." I backed out, hands shaking, muttered, "No thanks," and turned to leave. I didn't walk. I ran, slammed the door behind me, and sprinted to my car. I jumped in, locked the doors, and didn't even stop to put my seatbelt on. Then I made the mistake of looking back at the house. Through the front window, barely lit by that same moonlight, I saw them. Not one person. 4. 4 shadowed figures, standing shoulder to shoulder, staring out from behind the glass. No faces, just silhouettes. Still as mannequins, I floored it, didn't stop. Didn't breathe right until I hit a major road again nearly 45 minutes later. When I finally got home, my phone had 3 unread messages from that same number. The first one said, "Why'd you leave? The owl." Second, "You still want the couch." But the third made my skin crawl. "You're lucky," just 2 words. But they sank into my chest like ice. I didn't reply. I blocked the number. I deleted the app. I never reported it. I should have, but I didn't. Something about it felt like it would follow me if I acknowledged it. To this day, I don't use Marketplace. I don't meet up for pickups. And I don't go anywhere after dark, especially not for a free couch. Because whatever was waiting down in that basement, it wasn't furniture. A few weeks ago, I had to fly out to a small town I'd never been to before. I'd been accepted into a grad program there, and I needed to find a place to live before classes started. I was traveling alone, and to save time, I'd already set up a few apartment viewings through Facebook Marketplace. The first meeting was supposed to be in the late afternoon, somewhere in a quiet residential area outside town. The landlord sounded normal over email, short replies, but polite. He asked me to call him an hour before the tour to confirm I was still coming, so I did. I called. No answer. I figured maybe he was busy and just started walking to the house anyway, hoping he'd be there by the time I arrived. About an hour later, right on cue, he called back. His voice was calm at first. Then I told him I was already close. There was this weird pause. Then he snapped. "You're not supposed to be there yet. You're an hour early." I was confused, but then it hit me. My phone hadn't updated to the new time zone. I apologized and explained the mistake. Told him I could just wait outside until the actual appointment time. But his tone changed again, desperate. "No, just don't come yet. Go somewhere else. Wait. Anywhere else." His voice was almost pleading, not angry anymore, just insistent. Something about it felt off. Too off. I should have canceled right then, but I didn't. I needed a place to live, and housing options were slim. So I walked into town, grabbed food at a diner, killed time. Tried to shake the weird feeling in my gut. When it was finally time for the viewing, I made my way back. The guy was waiting outside. He looked rough, mid-50s, maybe older. Greasy hair, torn clothes, dirt caked under his fingernails. He looked like he hadn't slept or bathed in weeks. Immediately, I felt unsafe, but I told myself I was overreacting. Maybe he was just a little eccentric. We started talking, and he explained things about the house. Kind of. He kept dodging questions about repairs or utilities, saying it was unfinished or in transition. While we were talking, I noticed someone leaving through the back door of the house, a younger guy, thin, dirty hoodie, didn't look like a tenant. He caught one glimpse of me, then bolted to his car and sped off without a word. I asked the landlord who that was. He didn't even blink. "Oh, just someone else I showed the place to earlier." He said it too fast. Then he started asking me questions. Not normal questions like job history or rent budget, but weird personal ones. "How old are you? Are you close with your family? What are you studying?" He stared right into my eyes, unblinking. I gave vague answers. My chest was tightening. My instinct screamed leave. But I didn't want to lose the chance at finding a place, so I kept going. We toured the house. From the outside, it looked okay. Decent yard, quiet street. Inside, though, it was a mess. Water damage, random holes in the wall, mold creeping up from behind baseboards. Furniture covered in dust. The air smelled stale, like rot, and something metallic underneath it. He showed me each room, mumbling something forgettable in each one. It didn't feel like he was selling the house. It felt like he was memorizing the route. Then, at the very end, he said, "Come on, I want to show you something in the shed out back." Before I could answer, He started walking, motioning for me to follow. He didn't look back. The shed was detached, tucked behind the house and mostly hidden from the road. When he opened the door, there were stairs, leading down. He flicked a switch. Nothing. No light. Not even a flicker. He didn't react. He just started walking down those steps like he expected it. Step by step, disappearing into total blackness. Then he stopped at the bottom. I couldn't see his face anymore, just a shadow, and he said, "Aren't you coming down?" Something inside me froze. My breath caught. My legs wouldn't move. I glanced back toward the house, and that's when I saw it. Another man, standing silently in the back doorway, watching, not moving, not speaking, just standing. That was it. I turned and ran, straight into the woods behind the property. I didn't stop to think. I didn't scream. I just ran. I didn't even know where I was going, just away from the house. Away from those eyes. Branches clawed at my arms. Thorns tore at my jeans. The sun was setting fast, and the forest was getting darker by the second. After what felt like half a mile, I finally stopped and turned around. Nothing. No one behind me. Fumbled for my phone, hands shaking, and thank God I still had service. GPS got me back to the road, back to town, back to my hotel. When I finally got back, I locked the door, closed the blinds, and sat in silence for almost an hour before I dared check my phone again. Then I started digging. I searched the address, the photos, the listing. Gone. Completely. Deleted. But the house? It had been abandoned for 3 years. No owner on record. No active utilities. Nothing. I didn't sleep that night. I didn't even unpack. I flew out the next morning and told the school I'd find a place after the semester started. I never reported it. I still don't know what those men were doing. But I know one thing for sure. They weren't trying to rent that house. They were waiting for someone to walk inside it and never walk out. My wife and I were looking for a used car on Facebook Marketplace. We weren't trying to spend a fortune, just something decent to get around in. After weeks of scrolling through overpriced junk and sketchy listings, we finally found one that looked solid. It was a 2012 Honda Civic, low mileage, clean photos, and listed way under market value. The kind of deal that makes you double-check it hasn't already been sold. I messaged the seller immediately. He responded quickly, sounded normal, polite. We agreed to meet in a public place, a big mall parking lot on the north side of town. He said he couldn't get there until after work, so we set the time for 5:30. At 5:30 sharp, we arrived at the mall. I texted him what car we were in. He replied, "Running a little late. Be there soon." No problem. We weren't in a rush. The mall was still pretty busy. We figured he'd be 20-30 minutes max. But 30 minutes turned into an hour. Then 2. By that point, we'd already eaten at the food court, walked around, and were just sitting in the car, checking our phones. We were annoyed, but not suspicious. Yet, that changed with the next text. "Hey, I can't make it to the mall. Can we meet somewhere else? It's just 30 minutes away. I'll drop the price for the inconvenience." That line, "drop the price," hooked me. I should have known better, but the deal was already good. And now it was getting better. He sent the address. I pulled it up on my phone. It was a gas station just off the interstate. But there was something weird about it. It wasn't a 24-hour gas station. In fact, it had already closed for the night. My wife looked at me. "This feels wrong." She pointed out all the red flags, the late arrival, the change of location, the fact it was now dark and we were heading to an isolated area, and a price drop that made no sense. I should have listened. But all I could think about was how good the car had looked in the photos. I told her it was probably just a guy trying to get rid of it quickly. We sent a reply. On our way. The drive took about 25 minutes. As we exited the highway, things got quiet. No streetlights, no people. Just a dimly lit corner gas station with the windows shut and the lights off. It was dead silent. Only 2 other vehicles in the parking lot, parked far apart. One had a cracked windshield. The other had no plates. Then my wife whispered, "That's it. That's the car." She pointed toward the back corner of the lot. Sure enough, it looked like the Civic from the pictures, but only barely. The car was in way worse shape than in the photos. Scratches down the side, dents in the bumper. The paint looked dull, like it hadn't been washed in months. Still, I started pulling toward it. That's when I saw it. Something on the ground. Just barely visible under the low glow of our headlights. I stopped. My wife asked, "What's wrong?" I stared forward, heart thudding. There was a spike strip lying right across the spot where my car's front wheels would have rolled. Hidden, perfectly in the shadow. Not obvious, not even fully unrolled. But it was there. Waiting. My blood ran cold. I opened the door, stepped out to be sure, and there it was. A full row of steel spikes, ready to shred our tires the moment we moved closer. Weren't buying a car. We were being set up. I got back in the car and quietly said, "We're leaving." Didn't explain, didn't wait. I threw it in reverse and pulled out the way we came in, slowly, calmly, without drawing attention. The moment we hit the road again, my wife grabbed my hand. Neither of us spoke for a few minutes. We just drove. Fast. Back at home, I reported it to the police. They took the info, but there wasn't much they could do. I hadn't seen anyone. I hadn't gotten a license plate, just a deleted ad and a throwaway number. The listing disappeared from Marketplace 2 days later. No follow-up, no closure. Just that night, burned into my brain. Now, whenever I scroll, Marketplace, I don't just look at the price or the photos. I look at everything, because someone had waited for us out there that night. Someone planned every part of it. And if I hadn't spotted that spike strip, we might have been stranded, or worse.